talk a little bit about that Oregon game first. Let's talk the good. Let's talk the bad. Let's start off with the good. What do you think USC did do well? We're jumping straight in. No introduction. No, how are you doing? We're jumping straight in. What do you think USC did well against Oregon?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that, and I was there at Autzen Stadium for those who are wondering, and it was a great atmosphere. I think the biggest thing that really stood out to me, on a good note for USC is they came out quick. They scored on their first drive, they punted on their second drive, and then scored on their third drive. I mean, scoring on 2 of your first 3 drives on the road at a hostile environment against, one of the top teams in the country isn't easy to do, and that's what kept them in the game in the first half. Now, they did fall by the wayside after that, and there were some bad penalties and stuff, but I also want to shout out a guy who, has gotten love here and there this season, but a guy I think deserves more respect, Tanook Hines. I mean, he had a great game.
Freaking same thing.
Had an incredible touchdown catch from Makai Lemon, which is crazy, him throwing it to him. So those are my 2 biggest takeaways. But again, it was just a rough game defensively and a lot of things that I'm sure we'll talk about. How about you, though?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty much the same stuff. Tanook Hines was the highlight of the game. It just kind of looked at it because I saw a lot of national attention talking about it too. It's like, wow, USC's got another one. Like, we knew Tanook Hines has been great. It's why he's a true freshman who's getting those wide receiver 3 snaps. He showed that he is going to be that guy in the future, though. This game against a good Oregon team, he was phenomenal. He was great at high pointing the ball. His run after the catch was great. He was fantastic. I'm trying to think of the other things that went well. Just the receiver play in general, I thought was great. Makai Lemon had 2 touchdowns. Jacoby Lane didn't have one, but had over 100 yards. It was overall a phenomenal game from the receivers going against what was supposedly the number 1 passing defense in the country. We knew it wasn't. We knew that Oregon didn't actually have the best passing defense in the country if you had seen who they played against. But, they had 300 total yards passing with Mayava, plus I want to say 60 from pass interferences. Were there 4 pass interferences called? Something like that?
There was over 100 penalty yards. That's all.
A lot of penalties. One thing really quick, though, I'm going to post it in the comments. Makai Lemon, go vote Makai Lemon, the Fan Bolitnikoff Award. Everyone go vote for Makai Lemon. He's just barely behind Jeremiah Smith now. He's shot up the board, thank goodness, from where he was at, but he's a finalist. Go vote for him in the fan vote. Just got to have that going. So I'd wanted to post that. But Casey, I got to take a breath. What was the bad things that happened there? What can you say about that Oregon team? What can you say went wrong for USC? All of that stuff. And everyone who's watching, feel free to let us know what you think they did well, what they think they did bad as well.
I mean, where do I even start? I hate to say it like that, but I mean, special teams play all around was atrocious. The missed field goal, the penalty on the Oregon missed field goal, the punt return by Malik Benson for 85 yards for a touchdown. I mean, you can just point one thing after another, and it felt like it was not only discipline, but it was just not being able. It was lackadaisical special teams play. It was fireable, I think, from a special teams coordinator standpoint. Will that actually happen? Probably not. No. But I thought it was ridiculously bad, and then also just the defense in general, giving up 104. I mean, Noah Whittington's one of the best running backs in the nation, but 104 yards from him. Davison had 50 and a touchdown. You just can't let that happen. And then, I mean, passing wise, Oregon wasn't out passing USC, but Kenyon Sadiq felt like he was always open and he's so good. But, to allow a guy like that to take over the game. And I didn't think Jane Mayava was that great this game. Played one of his first games at USC.
Casey, I'll just say it before I address those other things. I thought Jane Mayava was bad. I thought he was playing with fire a lot of times on lots of throws he made. And then it finally started burning him. And it felt like he didn't learn his lesson at all. He just kept getting burned, and that was kind of brutal. I'm not going to lie. And I think the receivers very much made him look good lots of times. He had a couple good throws. There were times he missed people. There was times he was throwing into double coverage for no reason. It was just errant mistakes that Mayava just wasn't that good. I'm not going to be one of those guys who's going to be like Mayava out. Like he stinks. That's ridiculous. That was a bad game. That was a really bad game.
I also felt like USC defensively didn't bring a lot of pressure to Dante Moore. I felt like it was pretty much a clean pocket most of the time, and they didn't have a single sack. They had 1 tackle for loss or 2 tackles for loss as a team. USC did, but shout out Kennedy Urlacher. He's a guy we didn't bring up yet.
I forgot everywhere. To say it was positive.
he was when USC needed him most, like no Bishop Fitzgerald or Kamari Ramsey. I mean, as soon as I learned that those guys wouldn't play, I'll be honest, I knew it was not going to be a game for USC to win. You don't have two, in a secondary room that already isn't the top of the Big Ten.
Not great. Let's just say it's not that good.
Yeah, it's not that good. And then you lose your two safeties. And I mean, that puts a lot of weight on, Pierce and Urlacher. And Urlacher's young, and he hasn't played that much this year. And he had a pick. He had a bunch of tackles. Tackles. So that's 8 solo tackles, 9 total. I thought Desmond Stevens, besides the dumb penalty he had, was good too.
He was very good. He had 17 tackles and that tackle for loss. He was good.
Yeah, but that leaping call, I mean, whether or not it's a right call or not, I mean, we've already seen them get called for that this year. So
yeah, it's ridiculous. One of the things I want to point out, we were talking about just the overall USC not being a very strong team, a physically not very strong team. We saw versus Iowa, they helped over push them, but first half was bad. Michigan, they were great against Notre Dame and Illinois, though they were out muscled. And Casey, we can talk about this in a little bit later, but something that fired the Ducks up was those game notes, talking about how USC has quote unquote proved that they belong in the Big Ten. And first off, it's ridiculous to say that when they have only beaten Michigan, they don't have a real road win in the Big Ten. I also just think it gives fire to a team that does not need that motivation.
Yeah, and I think it was the game notes, and another thing that was brought up is just like USC has 11 national championships, Oregon has 0. USC has 8 Heisman. Yeah, sorry.
It's that exact. I mean, we'll talk about more off the field stuff later, but it plays into the whole narrative that USC is not a now team, is a past team of history.
Yeah, and I mean, like we see teams like the Dallas Cowboys and New York Yankees get ridiculed for being that way. And if you're USC, you've done so much good in the present and, in recruiting, and you've done a lot of stuff to try to build your program back to try to win the era, as they say. But it just feels like they're harping a lot on, and I think it's hard in college football because traditions are so valued, right? Like,
yeah,
there's also a difference between honoring tradition and living in the past. And it feels like USC does both. You should only be doing, like, obviously teams like Ohio State, they honor tradition with all their traditions and the stickers and all that on the helmets, but they also win. So it's a little bit harder. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't think USC has proven themselves to be a legitimate member of the Big Ten yet. I think one win over Iowa and Michigan, I guess, if you include that, I don't buy it. Like, it's at home too. They don't have a legit. I mean, I'm sure you agree. They don't have a legit,
the Big Ten. The best road win they have is Nebraska
with one half of Dylan Raiola. So, yeah, I agree.
Not good. But anyways, we'll talk more a little bit about this game. Let's talk a little bit about the Oregon offense versus USC's defense. You mentioned Kennedy Urlacher, and I do think he was great. I think he was one of the lone bright spots. Same with Desmond Stevens. The line play was really disappointing. I think one of the most disappointing things, if not the most disappointing things from this year, has been the defense, has been that defensive, I don't want to say defensive line because they've had their moments, but it's just it's the fact that it is the highest paid coaching staff in college football, one of, I should say, and they can't stop a fly. They couldn't stop anything. So they're still getting out muscled on the offensive line. Oregon was missing offensive linemen too. Oregon was missing two of their two top receivers. They still moved the ball at ease. At no point was I like, yeah, USC is definitely going to get a stop there. They got some stops, don't get me wrong, but some of them were fluky. Some of them were drops. Some of them were just not good plays by Oregon. There was the Dante Moore fumble where he just ran into Noah Whittington. I do agree with this. Oregon does suck, but we unfortunately suck more and lost to them.
Dave Portnoy in our
literally.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I was doing the broadcast and I was telling my broadcast partner, this game reminds me a lot of the Illinois game in the first half because USC was allowing the big play and they were missing out on opportunities themselves, but at the same time they were still in the game because they were allowing Oregon to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yep.
But once Oregon figured out, hey, we're at home, we're the better team, we have more talent right now, even without their top two receivers in DeCorian Moore and Gary Bryant. I mean, that's crazy to me that without their top two receivers, And I know they're more of a running team. They have 3 competent running backs in their backfield, but without, I mean, and probably one of the best, if not the best tight ends in the nation, but they were able to just outmuscle USC. It was a game that even Oregon's defensive line, I didn't think was that great. Like we didn't hear much about Bear Alexander this game at all. And
he was fine. Like, I don't know. I'm not, there's a whole weird hype around Bear Alexander and him just taking this leap at Oregon. And it's just like not true. It's propaganda I'm not falling for because he has been good. He's putting up the exact same stats. Like he's getting more pressure, and maybe I'm not watching his tape enough. He's putting up like very similar stats to his sophomore season at USC, where he was good. He was all Pac-12 honorable mention, but he's not otherworldly like I think we're being told.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Betcher had a fantastic game. Him alone
he was great.
Defensively. I mean, he scored a touchdown too.
Yeah, exactly. He was great.
Yeah, but the trick play was cool on USC's end. I'll give him that.
Yeah, Mekhi Lemon threw a dart to Nook Hines. Took Hines, phenomenal catch of the day. I don't know. I just come away. You can talk what you want about USC, and they have made progress from 6-6 to 9-3 and 7-5 the year before. There is very much progress. It's not as much as I think there is. And I really just don't see Lincoln Riley leading them to the promised land.